Okay. So, hi, Ms. Smith. I am Amara Williams. I'm a senior, and I'm excited to talk to you today.
Hi, Amara. First of all, let me get started and say, do not call me Miss Smith. That is my mother. I am Dayna. Trust and believe, guys, just call me Dayna. Miss Smith makes me cringe. So
Okay.
it's nice to meet you guys, and I really look forward to this because I don't know if any of you guys were there when I did it in November of 2019, but I spoke with some of the girls back in November, so this will be fun.
Yeah. I'm Merwaldi. I'm a senior, and I will be introducing you. All right. So welcome to our second series of I've Got a Story to Tell, where we're speaking to Dayna Smith, and I'm going to read her bio. It says Dayna Smith was a freelance publicist for a creative agency where she works with artists, fashion designers, actors, and influencers to build their brands. She graduated from Penn State University with a degree in broadcast journalism and a minor in sociology. Her career in entertainment began in 2012 after crushing an internship at Bad Boy Entertainment, Ciroc, Live Nation, and Hot 97. She quickly proved herself a vital branding powerhouse. These internships opened the door to an exciting world of public relations and branding. She went on to work at MLCPR, where she worked with actors, New York Fashion Week, and the Tribeca Film Festival. She is currently an account executive at a PR agency currently handling music clients and music streaming platforms.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so we want to get into kind of your background so we can ease into your present career and whatnot. So my first question for you would be, what was it like growing up, and how has your upbringing affected your life?
That's a really good question because I grew up in Elmont, just like the rest of you guys. I moved there when I was like 3, 4, and for the most part, everything was great when I went to college. And my parents are really cool. They are Trinidadian, so I'm first generation American, which puts a little bit more pressure on you because it's always this sense of, did my parents come here for no reason? I came here to give you a better life. And you know, the whole story of like parents just having the pressure of trying to fulfill what my parents want for me. But for the most part, growing up was great. I never really, I guess, like wanted for anything. My parents always made sure we were good, even if we were struggling at certain times and stuff like that. You know, you just never see it, especially in high school. You don't really see those kinds of things. And then, what was the second part of your question again?
How has your upbringing affected your life?
Okay, so that was the second part. Upbringing did affect me tremendously because I feel as if I did everything when I was younger, I more did everything to make sure my parents were proud. And at some point, I think that did start to have a lot of wear and tear on me mentally and physically because I was picking a career path and like classes, and I wanted to major in things for my parents instead of for myself. So I feel like when I went away to college, it took a couple years, but I really started to grow into myself as a person and as like a young woman that's coming in, that you're no longer being sheltered. You go to doctor's appointments, you go to your professor's office hours, you see the dean, there is no parents there. It's you really by yourself. So I feel like my parents' upbringing, because I have what you call helicopter parents who tend to hover. So we're a very close-knit family. Now I'm telling you, my parents hover. So no, they're hovering, like we are grown adults. None of my parents' kids live at home, and my parents still want to be like somewhat attached. So that does affect us a lot, as I have 2 older siblings. They're 2 brothers. And it tends to be this thing where for a lot of times, it's like wherever my brother's failures were, it was because I'm the youngest, it was then put on me like, well, Dwayne was supposed to be a lawyer, and so now I want you to do law. And my other brother was supposed to be a doctor, and he does finance. So like everything that my parents couldn't get out of my first two, their first two kids, they tried to bundle it up and just like put that pressure on me to do things. And it took me until I was about, I would say 21, 22 to start really figuring out, realize that at the end of the day, yes, my parents are paying for me to go to school, but I have to take these classes. This is my life. And I just went for it, and I just started, I wouldn't say rebelling, but I took control of my own life. So I just stopped doing things for them and more doing things for my own happiness, which really, really helped me in the long run.
Wow. So even going into college, you were still trying to do things for your parents, and you still didn't come into yourself while you were in maybe freshman year of college.
Yeah, I would say that, like, for me, I've always been vocal about everything that I want. And since I was young, my parents put me in law and politics. So I always wanted to do that. When I was in high school, I interned on Capitol Hill for a couple of our congressmen who are there now, and some of our representatives who were the representatives for like Floral Park, Garden City Park, and stuff like that. Was doing it, and I just kind of felt like I was doing things, and I really liked it, but I realized that that wasn't a career path that I wanted. So at some point I started realizing, like, am I doing this for myself, or am I doing this because my parents put me in programs that sparked this interest, you know? And so for the most part, I would say that I was, sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so for the most part, yeah, I did come into myself. Like, I was very vocal freshman year, but after me realizing that I did not want to go into politics and like politics, law, in the sense of the direction that my parents were trying to push me, I think that's when I started trying to figure out, like, what do I want to do? Where do I see myself long term? So I would say it's two different things. Like, I was always vocal, like a very vocal person, but I just wanted to make my parents proud.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm glad that you were able to make that realization while you were still young, because I know a lot of people make that realization after they graduated, or, you know, after they've graduated, gotten a job, and are working in that job, and they realize that this isn't for them. So that's awesome that you were able to do that early in your life.
Yeah.
Yes, I can attest to that, because 90% of the people that I graduated college with, they all have had career changes already. And it's because, for the most part, you go into school, you're not knowing what you want to do. You pick a major, something easy, something that your parents recommend, or whatever it is, and you never actually took the time to explore what you really like, because people do not understand this. The transition between high school and college is very quick. It is, you graduate in May, June, whichever one, and then you go to school in August. So for the most part, that 3 months of the summertime, you really should take that time to figure out, like, just explore different opportunities of areas, classes that you may want to take. You know what, even though my major may be law, but let me take a communications class. Let me take a class on a microbiology, and just explore different areas, because it just gives you the opportunity to start seeing different things outside of what you think your expectations or what you want to be.
Truth to that. I have a question. My question is, you went away to Penn State University. So do you think you would have made these realizations if you stayed home for college?
Absolutely not. I am an absolute big advocate of going away to school. I do not care if you are going to St. John's. We all know how close St. John's is. Dorm at some point. It is a sense of independency. I noticed that my friends who went away to college, we are completely a different group of people that my friends that stayed home. And not saying stayed home in New York, meaning I just mean commuted and went to school. So they woke up every morning. It's different. When you go to school, your parents drop you off in August, that dorm gets very lonely. You are an adult, and you have to make way for yourself. So you have more time without. So think about it. Being honest, you guys are like mostly seniors. When you do certain things, even when you go out with your friends, and places that you want to go, places that you think your parents would approve of. you know? So when you go away to college, you have that different experience where you may go to a place where there's bowling, there's parties, there's all different kind of things. You start to find yourself things that you like that you don't like. And I realized that my parents were never, they're hovering because they just want to be a part of our lives, but they're not very strict in terms of like, you can't go here, you can't go there. But just in terms of like every day coming home and having that time to just sit and think for yourself without someone bothering you or someone looking at you, it's this whole sense of peace where sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, living with a roommate is not the easiest thing, but for the most part, it is a sense of independency that you will not get until you officially move out from your parents' house. Life living at home and life living in college is two completely, to me, different experiences where I just advocate for it, whether it's for 1 year or 2 years. It may not be for all 4 years, but I do think it gives you a leg up at being a different sense of independence and knowing what you want and standing truth for it. Because for me, I have had roommates that have missed finals because they overslept, and it was, you know, you have to sit there and become an adult and make decisions for yourself. It's very much a completely different realm of waking up, saying, hey, bye, Ma. Hey, you come home from school or classes and you have dinner there, versus going away to school. You have to figure out how you're going to eat when you come back from class. Remember to feed yourself. Remember to go to the dorms or the cafeteria before it closes, because some of the schools, the cafeteria is not open past a certain time. So if you're a late eater, you have to remember. So it just starts, I feel like going away to school starts putting you into the real world of adulting by yourself.
Wow.
No, don't be scared. It's great. It's great. I'm telling you, the best days of my life was dorming at school. So I love dorming. I am a huge advocate of it. Yes, it's stressful at times because you're living in a dorm, you have a roommate. Sometimes people don't get along with their roommates, and that's understandable. But for the most part, that is part of life, of dealing with conflicts on your own and as an adult.
Okay. So
I have a follow-up question.
Okay.
You went to Penn State University. Penn State University is known for like many fields. Do you think if you went to a different school, you would have the opportunities that you have now?
No. 100%. That's how I actually picked Penn State. So when I was a junior going into senior year, I took classes at Georgetown. So I spent the summer there. I took classes there. And that's when I did my internship on Capitol Hill. And it was just basically this program. It was like a bridge program between high school and college. You start taking college classes, which was great. I loved working and being on Capitol Hill. Was it a situation where I saw that longevity? There is longevity in politics, but it's just the fact that no sense of work-life balance. A lot of the women, there's different things, and at a young age, I was always very able to, I would say, like, think for the future. Like I'm a long kind of person. So I plan out 5 years from now. So I'm like, hey, 5 years from now, I'm living in DC. I go to school here. And is Capitol Hill a place that I see myself living, working for the rest of my life? You know what I mean? And it was something I just could not picture myself eventually being in my 30s and being overseas, being sent to the Middle East to be working at UN offices and different embassies. I just couldn't picture that. It seems like a great life. For some, it works. I just didn't think it worked for me. And so when I was picking schools, Georgetown is known for their law and political science program. And I had already made the decision, like, what if I change majors? What am I going to the school for? You know what I mean? So like outside of that, Georgetown has a very good medical program, but I've never really was interested in medicine. So what do I do after that? So when I picked a school, I went down this long list and I said, what schools have the top alumni programs? What schools are known for things? Like 10 different things. I want this school to be known for everything. So whether I decide to go into business, I stay in politics, I go into law, I go into whatever field that I am in, I am good. So for me, I don't think it would have worked out because some schools are known for certain things. It just so happened that I decided to take the route into communications, which is me being in entertainment and being in there for a very long time. My same friends who went to certain schools in Long Island, they're not known for that. So when you go on your interviews and the alumni and the certain people who are in the industry, they tend to hire Penn State alumni. St. John's is very much known for the entertainment field. There's a lot of people that work in entertainment and communications that are in entertainment. Same thing goes for their sports management program. Same thing goes for their pharmaceutical program, their medicine. So St. John's is one of those schools in New York that are known for certain things, and they have a great alumni system that are part of the hiring and HR process for a lot of these companies. So for me, I have seen the difference between some of my friends that have gone to school in Long Island. I'm not going to state the names, but they were unable to get jobs in communications and had to have changed career fields. Everyone that I went to school with from Penn State that has interned and actually followed the proper, steps that we're supposed to take to really land our good job and stuff, we're all doing fine. We're all living on our own. Good, it's fine. But I would say that when choosing certain schools, look at what you're possibly into and what the school and what their alumni system, how they get down. So Penn State has an alumni chapter in every state, and I think in over 60 countries. So for me, I'm part of the alumni chapter in New York. There's a big, we have a database where they have picnics in Central Park. Well, this is pre-COVID because, COVID kind of messed everything up. But they have like a dodgeball league. They have, like for women, they have like a mani and pedi day where you can just meet up. They like rent out a nail salon in the city, which happens to be perfect because I live right here in the city and it's not too far from me. So they have like, it's once every month. I think it's the first Tuesday of the month it used to be, but they have certain things where a lot of alumni perks. So I look at stuff like that where, the school that I go to, whatever I'm paying, it better match up the qualities after I leave because schools are pricey and, we have to pay it back somehow, some way, whether it's you or your parents somehow have to pay, or even if it's scholarship, that's still you paying because you have to work very hard to get that scholarship. So I would keep that in mind about certain schools that you go to and just look deeply into it if it's good for your field and how do the alumni treat people? Are they easy to reach out to? Are they very responsive and that kind of stuff?
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I honestly never even thought to look for alumni. I feel like I don't think I've ever even been told that was something to consider.
Yeah, no. Well, that's what we're here for, college graduates already. We're supposed to teach the youth and pass down our knowledge. No one actually told me that when I was doing my applying to schools. I had applied to, what schools did I apply to? I applied to Chapel Hill, North Carolina Chapel Hill. I applied to Spelman, Howard, certain schools. And then I started narrowing it down based on what kind of financial aid package you were giving me, what kind of scholarships, what were the contingencies upon those scholarships, because some of these schools offer a lot of scholarships, but it's only for freshman year. Following that, you have to figure out a way to pay $50,000, $55,000, $60,000 a year. So I took everything into consideration because especially at the time, my parents had my brother who was in college. He was at Columbia in the city right here, Columbia University. So I was taking everything in because I do know my parents were paying for 3 kids to go to college. But the alumni system is a very good tip. So I don't know if you guys have chosen schools yet, but if you haven't, or even if you have, it's great to just reach out to some of the alumni and just ask them for like little tips and tricks to be on campus. I'm not sure with everything that's happening right now with the pandemic, if you guys are going away to school and if you guys are planning on dorming for the first year, because I do know some people are postponing it, which is understandable. And I definitely see where people are coming from with postponing living on campus with everything going on. So yeah, just think of those things, even if you've already chosen your school. Try to find some of the alumni who went to your school and just ask them for certain advice, preferably some of the recent alumni, because sometimes some of the programs that they're in, they change every so often. So like what someone may tell you that graduated, I don't know, in 2005, it may be a different system from how it is now. So just try to be mindful of that. But even still, any alumni is grateful and is really helpful at the most part?
Decision day is this Saturday, so most of us already made our decision.
Yeah.
Did you guys make your decisions?
Yes.
So for me, because I'm still a junior.
Where are you going to school? Where are you guys picking?
I chose John Jay College just because I wanted to get into law and I did not want to be in debt, but I might transfer.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. John Jay is good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's yeah. It wasn't my first choice, but it's okay.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
Transfer is always an option, but John Jay, don't feel discouraged at all. John Jay's a very good school.
Thank you.
Amara, what about you?
I'm going to St. Joseph's, the Brooklyn campus.
Okay.
But I most likely will be transferring. So I might stay just for the
What is up with you guys transferring? School didn't even start yet, and you've already put that option hey, I might be transferring.
I wish I went about the college process differently,
Me too.
Yeah.
It was a lot harder because everything was at home. We couldn't go in and have the counselors or teachers help us. So it was a lot more difficult doing it at home. But now that I know,
what about you?
Actually, I'm still a junior, but mostly I'm thinking of Hofstra.
Okay, that's a really good school too. They have some good programs.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand that college is different.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm a sophomore and I want to go to my top schools in my head right now, listening to all the seniors talk, is Penn State and Georgetown, because I wanted to go into law, and Georgetown is like Florida law school.
Oh yeah.
Those are good choices. I'm also biased because I'm a Penn State alumni and I'm a Nittany alum, so I am a little biased, but still, those are both really good choices. All of the schools, though, that you guys listed are good schools, and I do want to let you guys know, do not feel discouraged at any point or time, because everything that just occurred within the last year and a half has been completely an upwind battle for everyone. So it's not just you. Working from home, working from remotely is difficult. I'm pretty sure learning school-wise is difficult. I didn't even realize you guys I thought Elmont was in person some of the days.
Yeah, you can pick. Yeah, you can choose if you want to go in some days, but I just do remote.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I pick and choose when I go into the building. How did COVID affect your personal and work life?
Okay, personal life, COVID affected not really much because I still see my friends. I live on my own, so that's different. So I live in the city. I don't actually live on my own. I would take that back. I live with my boyfriend, and we've been living together for a couple of years, but we live in the city. So for the most part, majority of our friends, we're all adults. I see you when I see you. I catch you when I catch you, kind of thing. But I've always been very busy. So I'm like one of those friends that you don't see very often, but you speak to very often. Kind of like that. For the most part, it did affect my work life a lot because I travel a lot for work. So I go between LA, New York, Atlanta, a lot for work, for entertainment events, just for meetings in general. Then there are a lot of events that I did not get to work, which is very heartbreaking, such as Fashion Week. I do Fashion Week every year for the past 6-7 years. Was not able to do Fashion Week. It was virtual. Tribeca Film Festival was virtual. All the things are virtual. So it did affect just me personally, like with wanting to go places. But in terms of like work, COVID affected it a lot. A lot of the companies laid off people. A lot of the publications aren't the same. You just see a lot of people being furloughed. Even when working with clients right now, people have expectations of, I would say, pre-COVID expectations and post-COVID, and currently what it is, your expectations cannot be the same with our with our job, because normally you with clients, they go to events, we have press meetings, we have interviews, we have all different kind of things. That's different. A lot of companies, their budgets have changed. There's not a lot of brand opportunities out there. You have to be extremely creative. So it has affected it that way. I mean, our company did do the Super Bowl this year, so I was in Tampa for the Super Bowl, and then that was about the only thing that I did do so far for the year. But clients are still the same. Clients are still the same.
Can you
They're a lot of work.
and give us like a summary of your job? Like explain what do you do in your job? Like what is it that you do every day?
Okay, that is a good question. So for the most part, I am an account executive for a PR firm in New York. An account executive is a publicist, AKA a brand manager, and the end all be all of anything that you like. So think of the way how you describe PR would be someone's overall image when you think of them. So when someone leaves the room, what do you think of them? Like someone says, I don't know, give me an artist that you guys like right now. Who's good? Oh, DaBaby. So like DaBaby, when you think of him, what do you think of? So that is a publicist's job, is that we get you all of your press. So anytime you see somebody trending on the internet, on social media, that is a publicist. Interviews that you see them doing, media days, their album releases, if they are in movies, if they have clothing brands, if they are partnered with Fashion Nova, Boohoo, any of those type of brands. Some of them, they have partnerships with Nike, Adidas, Kith, what are the other brands that we've partnered with? A lot of different brands, but it's just to say that PR, we handle your public relations for a client. So handling PR for talent, which would be an actor, an actress, an artist, a rapper, a singer, however you want to describe them, is different from how you handle PR for a brand. So I actually do both, which is quite difficult to keep balancing in between, but I get it done. Right now, my clients are, I have 7, 5 music talent, 1 streaming platform, and recently I just got a client for a reality TV show, but we can't disclose.
Oh, do you have anyone famous?
Okay.
Yeah, I do. Right now, some of our clients we can't disclose because we're still in contract stuff with them. Okay. But for the most part, our company, we work with AudioMac. I don't know if you guys are familiar with AudioMac. It's the streaming platform. So we do AudioMac. We work in conjunction with Atlantic Records. Recently, we have Love and Hip Hop. We do a lot of stuff with this company does a lot of stuff with the VH1 and the MTV whole umbrella, which would be BT, VH1. I can't remember.
That's a pretty hands-on.
Yeah. It's a very hands-on job. It's like technically you're always on call, but I don't know if I answered your question, because I get this question all the time about what do I do? So, when you keep answering the same question all the time, eventually you're not sure if you're really answering the question.
So just follow-up question, are you passionate about it? Like, is it something you're passionate about doing?
I like PR, definitely passionate about the field of public relations. I'm not the biggest fan of working with artists. Just for personal reasons. I was started in music because I was an intern at Bad Boy. And then I was at like Live Nation, which is under Rock Nation. And then all the rest of these other ones that I started at. It's just not my biggest fan. I'm a big fan of fashion and a big fan of film. So I do still freelance with fashion companies, which is great because, you still kind of get to choose what kind of clients you go after and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, public relations, yes, very, very passionate about that because we control the media. What people do not understand is what you see on the news is controlled by a publicist. And I believe that the news and the media needs a lot more of people of color, Black women, Asian woman, Hispanic woman, Muslim woman, I don't care what kind of woman, but we need a lot of them to start sharing our narrative of how we want things to be said. If you want to change the narrative on the news, you cannot expect someone of a certain race who is the majority in this country to understand your proper narrative of how you want your message to be delivered. So that's why I actually got into communications, is because I started seeing a lot of messages, things controlled by groups that does not have anything to do with the Black community or different communities. And it just bothered me. So I kind of felt like, how do I change this? And how do I change it? Is by getting in the media, and you change. So even for me, I control who brands work with. So as a Black woman going in, I like to see women of color work with brands. So when I get the opportunities to keep seeing Caucasian men or Caucasian women who normally get these opportunities to work with certain brands, I will deny you. Not because you're not good enough, but because I feel like you have the opportunity in plenty of different areas, different companies that Black people and other people don't get. So I try to be very mindful of opening up the door where I see fit for our people. And it was like, yeah, so I do a lot of stuff. I've also do a lot of things in film as well, because my mentor, which is I have numerous mentors, but one of my mentors, he was my professor at Penn State. He was my film professor, and shout out to Boaz. He was like amazing. That is one good thing about college, is that when you graduate, some of these people become lifelong friends. I still meet with my professors when they come to New York. We go out to lunch, we go out to dinner. When I visit Penn State, I go and I visit their families. It is truly a lifelong bond that I have built with some of my professors. Very much so, where I believe that I can turn to you for anything. My professor, he does a lot of documentaries and docuseries, which is great. And I'm super passionate about, because we do a lot of work with, just in general, about causes that are, how do we get our brands out there about the justice system? I did a whole documentary on Muslim women back in 2017, 2018. I did a documentary on them because I was appalled by Trump's comment about Muslims, and I wanted all the smoke with that man. So I did a documentary, and no, very serious. I was super, like, all the way fired up, because I don't know, nor you probably may know who I'm talking about, but she was the first Muslim woman in the 2016, I think it was the Rio Olympics, for Rio de Janeiro for Brazil. Her name is Ibtihaj Muhammad. So she is a woman. Yeah. So when you get a chance, look up Ibtihaj Muhammad. She is the first Muslim woman to represent Muslims in the Olympics wearing a hijab, which was amazing. And at the same time, she was being racially profiled in the airport as a Black woman, as a Muslim woman, going to represent the United States in the Olympics, which was quite, like, insane, because I couldn't even imagine just being that kind of person. And for the fact that she stood up a lot of times, she went up against Trump. And it was this uphill battle for her, where she really stood for what she was saying. It was a time when during this time, Trump had decided he was doing this ban on Muslims. So I just felt like I geared up with my professor, and here we go with this documentary. And it's things like that where you just create things and you find your causes. And this is why I say, it doesn't matter what field you are. We need Black lawyers. We need Black doctors. We need Muslim lawyers. We need Muslim doctors. We need anything that represents your people. So if you feel like your voice needs to be heard, you need a representation in all fields across the board. So for me, I felt as if I am very passionate about, and I'm very good at communicating, and how do I change this narrative of what is going on? Because especially when I started changing into this is when Trayvon Martin was first killed, and the whole Trayvon Martin situation had happened. And I really did not like that narrative of the way they had spewed that little boy, who was at that time just a year, maybe, or two younger than what you guys are currently. And I just feel as if, for me, for the most part, public relations would be something that I stand in for the long run. Do I see myself staying in entertainment long haul? That's a different story, because entertainment, you don't know, it's not a longevity thing. Entertainment is a young people's field, and everybody knows that. But as I'm getting older, I do love public relations. I just want to start tailoring them more into companies Larger companies, not right now, but I know in the future I'll eventually want to start tailoring it to companies that have large initiatives to help young women. And so that's where I would eventually go to. So there are companies like Google, Facebook, Twitter does it. So like more media-based companies that I can start, because right now I'm holding the narrative of what is being said about our people on these platforms. But I also would like to be involved with those platforms as well, some sort of way down the line.
And
I don't know if that answers your question, or.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Thank you.
I think that it's
You're welcome.
awesome that we have a strong Black woman in this field. I think it is incredible. I know I can speak for myself only, but I think it is incredibly inspiring for young people of color, even if they're not going into the same field as you. I think it is incredibly inspiring, especially because you're taking your success and you're taking your knowledge and you're using it to help people in our community and inspire people in our community. And I think that that's amazing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
I agree with that tremendously. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I know for myself, I'll be going into the education field, and obviously we need more Black and just people of color teachers. So that is just amazing and inspiring for me because, you know, I want to be able to help people of color, and, you know, it starts when you're young too. So that's just, yeah,
that's great because people don't understand that us publicists, we're the ones that get the celebrities to band behind and do some of the initiatives in their charity organizations with education, with law, different things. So even right now, our company has a politician. She's not my client. She's currently running for Brooklyn Borough president or something. I'm not sure. She's not my client, so don't quote me on that. But then we do have, I'm just saying, then I have worked with a lot of companies to work with initiatives for schools. So like school give back, school scholarships, mentoring days between the companies. So like I've worked with companies where we have created like, I can't remember the exact name of the day that it was, but we do something where our employees go into the school and talk to students for the day, or we do like a one-on-one session where you can come into the office. If this is a field that you want to go into, come into the office, work for the day. Not really work for the day, but you shadow someone, which is great. So that's how we do a lot of things as publicists too. We're not just about the entertainment industry, but we're really big on giving back. So even one of my clients now, she's very big on human trafficking. So one of my projects that I've been working on a lot is human trafficking. So getting her involved with human trafficking organizations and helping her bring awareness to that. And then I have another client. He's now graduating high school, which is great. And he's big on community service and Black Lives Matter because he's a young Black man. So we're trying to get him in initiatives with Black Lives Matter and that kind of stuff. So if you can see how we tie the celebrities into real causes and real initiatives for young people to get involved, for young people to see that your voice is heard, we're hearing it, and we're answering it. So that's how we try to, for me, I don't know about everyone else, but I base everything I do in PR, and I tie every client into some sort of initiative or charity because I just feel like what's the point of being a celebrity with all this money if you can't give back? So that's how I tend to work.
Right.
So listen, you were once middle class, you once knew, you need to now give back to everyone else that helps support you. And I make sure and do that with all of my clients. So every single client that I have right now is part of, we're working on some sort of charity initiative, whether it be the human trafficking with one of the girls, the boys, the Black Lives Matter. We're also going to start doing other initiatives with him with getting young kids to vote, you know, like, because he's about to be turning 18 and getting kids into that, getting people into getting their learner's permit, driving, like, you know, getting young kids and making sure that they're aware of their rights.
Right. That's amazing. I think that you are amazing, and it was honestly nice to talk to you because I've learned a lot about what you do and just your job, and I love how you do your job, especially with.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that. You know, work is stressful. Work is hard. It's not easy. So it's great to hear that some people appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Do you guys have any other questions?
I personally do not. I feel like I got to know a lot from you.
Okay.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Okay. Really quick, I just want you guys to I know you're inspiring and they said that, but I need you guys to thank her. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank
you guys
you.
are welcome.
Thank you for telling us
I got
everything.
a lot of gems from this. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mara.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got a lot of gems from this conversation with you. Really has me thinking about what I want to do and my purpose in a way. Because you said that you find a way to have your clients do charity work to give back, and I think that's very inspiring. I would never think of that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm always huge on initiatives just in general, because one of the things that I felt that why I actually do this is because I feel like growing up in Long Island, I don't feel like there was a lot of mentorship opportunities. I don't feel like there's a real sense of opportunity to find leadership from someone, or just know that there are causes or things to get involved, charity give backs. I just never saw it. And I always say, listen, well, maybe I can't give it back in Elmont, but I'm gonna get my clients to give it back in their neighborhood. So at least they're people who grew up there, they don't feel the same way. So I try to figure out how I felt growing up. And I just felt like sometimes you need someone else to turn to outside of school, outside of your parents, and outside of your friends, because your friends usually are like-minded people, so they tend to think alike. And yeah, so I definitely see you guys. I was there once, and I do understand that I am nowhere near what you guys are going through with this pandemic and not being able to visit schools. And don't take that any type of way. If you guys are still interested in going to other schools, you should still explore that. Don't let this time be a point where you can't see things. But I would say any school that you're interested in, start reaching out to people. I mean, for the most part, I think YouTube has a lot of campus tours for you to kind of see what the school is getting to, what it's going to be looking like. But don't be discouraged. I'm telling you, college would be the best time of your life. It is, but there is a big difference between high school and college, and there's a big difference between college and the real world. Yeah, for the most part, you guys have it much easier now, because I feel like social media, well, I see your face. So it is definitely different, because I didn't really have social media like that. I mean, we have Facebook, but it wasn't as bad like this Instagram and you guys. And I understand the social bullying and all the expectations of what females look like on Instagram, which is definitely an initiative that I have been working on with a couple of our clients to do. Sorry, this is actually work hitting me up again. But oh, that's not my client. But doing initiatives like no filters, no makeup, different things so you can inspire young girls to see that you guys look like normal people. Because trust and believe, a lot of the people that you think look a certain way, I have been with them, and they do not look like what they look like. And so I do understand that part of things. But when I say things are slightly easier, I mean, in terms of information, it's at your fingertips. When I was going to school, smartphones wasn't as smartphones. It was barely Blackberries. We had a Blackberry. It was more Sidekick days, that kind of stuff. So I don't feel like things was as easily accessible, and people weren't as easily reached. So think of this now where, yes, you may have some setbacks, but look at the gain and the positive in it, where people are at a reach away with a phone call, a text, a Zoom link, a FaceTime message. You can DM people. There's all sorts of platforms, and Google is your best friend. YouTube is insane. There's a lot of different ways for you to get information, which wasn't easily as available before. So there's a positive side to both. So I definitely get that it's not easy. Trust me, I know, but it's not going to get any easier is what I'm saying. So just understand that you just have to, at this point, you just got to start taking control of your own decisions and make sure you're secure with where you're going to college, because this is your decision. It's not mine. It's not your parents. It's not anybody else's, because I don't know for the rest of you who's paying for college and who's not, but for the most part, you will be paying back college. So you want to make sure that whatever school you're paying back, you are proud to be an alumni and you are proud of that degree. If you guys have any questions about college, just let me know. If you guys want my email address, you guys can always shoot me an email. I'm always on email, so you can reach me at email anytime. But for the most part, if you guys have any questions about college, I'm actually a very, very big advocate for college, as you guys can see. So any questions you have, hopefully if you guys, whatever schools you guys pick, if I have people or know people that went to your schools, I'll try to connect them so you guys can at least have someone where they can help you out with the curriculum. Because what I can tell you is Naja, right? Is it? Okay, Naja, you said you wanted to go to Penn State or Georgetown, right? Your curriculum is completely different from John Jay's. You get what I mean? So like starting to find people who understand that curriculum, and even the professors, like utilize, for you seniors that are going into school, utilize, what is it, ratemyprofessor.com. There's also a website where you can rent textbooks. I think it's called Chegg. You can rent textbooks, like just find different ways to get information before you start school and before you decide what classes you're on, because some of these professors, they are not easy. They just are a habit out for some students. I'm telling you, I had a professor that came in on the first day. It was Stat 200. It was Professor Urenco. First day, he put up on the little whiteboard. He done wrote down. He was like, 70% of my class will fail. 10% will get this. And I'm like, okay. Well, I don't know how I like you, but I mean, I will try to do this class until the drop add date. But for the most part, you do get professors like that. Don't be scared. Not a lot of the professors are like that, but college is your golden years. Take advantage of it, because once college is over, the real world sets in. You have jobs, you may move out. I don't know how long people are going to be living at home for, but for the most part, I don't know. It seemed like the younger generation, they just moving out earlier and earlier. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you guys. You guys moving out of quickness. But for the most part, yeah, you just want to understand that college is hard, but it's also your time to find yourself. And do not feel pressured to say that college is when you will find whatever you want to do. So I have friends that majored in law who are not lawyers now. I have friends who majored in nutrition who are now, what are they? They're now teachers. I have a friend who majored in law, but she's now a teacher as well. I have a friend who majored in pre-med who's now a pharmacist. Like, a lot of times your major will not align up to what you want to do, but just be happy and just know that those 4 years are going to be the best years of your life. Meet people, do not be scared, join clubs, socialize. I don't know how socializing is going to happen now that I'm thinking about it with this whole pandemic, but you do have the opportunity to meet people, join clubs. Just take advantage of this, because college was the best years of my life, and it flew by. And I just be sitting back like, yo, how did I graduate? When did this happen? I mean, just the other day I was in school. And it's not just the other day. It seems like that, but time starts to go by a lot quicker when you have a full plate on your hands. So just remember to reach out to people. Try to remember there's internships opportunities. There are, for Amara, you want to be a teacher. You can be doing things with, what is that, the Department of Education. From now, you can start doing stuff. I do believe that they have internship programs, and I think their internship programs are paid. There's charter schools, there's private schools, there's a lot of things you can look into. For everyone else that wants to do law, though it is an endless amount of opportunities of law firms, of not only law firms, but nonprofit organizations that do a lot of work with law, all depending really and truly what kind of law you want to go into. But that's a different field. Actually, Nora, I didn't hear what you wanted to do.
Actually, I'm pretty interested in pre-med.
Okay, yeah. So like Hofstra has a great medical program, which is great. And then there are a lot of doctors that you can reach out to, even your own primary care doctor.
Yeah, I usually go to Northwell for everything, and they are like a big part of Hofstra. So
yeah, they have their a bridge program with Hofstra, but I would start reaching out to the whatever doctor that you see and ask them if it's possible, letter of recommendation, how you can get involved. Do they have high school internships? Do you guys have things for after people graduate? Like, just start finding out the information, and a lot of times they're very receptive, especially if you're their patient and you're there, they're very receptive, and that's the easiest way to get an answer.
yeah, that's a great advice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dayna, again, so much. Honestly, the information you gave has been very helpful.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, if you guys, like I said, if you have any questions, especially to the graduating seniors, because I understand that this is a very, very stressful time. I understand because my little cousin / god sister, she graduated last June, and she went off to Morgan State, but then never went to Morgan State because they shut down the dorms and you couldn't live on campus. So at the last minute, like 3 days before move-in, they had let them know that they weren't moving in. So I know it was a hard adjustment for her, just taking classes online and just wanting to be social and not wanting to be home freshman year. But it was just like, okay, I get it. This is the cards you're dealt, and you just got to make it work. So I would suggest leaning on your peers, you guys, just for help as well, because your mental health is a lot during this time. And I understand that mental health, especially in you young teens, you guys think you guys have issues. You have issues, but it may get worse. So just know that you have each other at this time to like really utilize each other for schools, like you guys are both graduating seniors, speak to each other about, hey, so even in terms of if you guys were both trying to dorm or doing whatever you were thinking of doing, hey, what website are you getting your books from? Do you know of any places that are selling good dorm room sets or something like that? It's a thing where we need to start sharing information that we have, because it only helps the next person. And that's all I'm trying to do, is just give you guys the tools to know that as women, we need to stick together, because there is a large gender wage gap that I'm sure you guys are aware of right now that is going on. And with the pandemic and everything that is happening, it is widening that gender wage gap. So for us as women, I'm telling you, stick together, utilize each other. I understand that in high school, half the time when you graduate, you're going to see these people again. I don't see half the people I graduated with. I have like 4 or 5 friends from high school. Majority of my friends are from college, or just like people that I've met outside, and just that we have great interests with, like I have a lot of hobbies. I like to cook, so I go to cooking classes sometimes. Like I have different things that I like I have a travel group that I'm a part of because I travel a lot. And well, not anymore, but still, I was part of a Black women's travel group. So we meet up and then we travel together. We get in sync and we travel. Like, hey, I go to a lot of conferences where we meet different type of women. So just know that there's a lot of outlets out there for you. So someone may know and you just don't know because you did not ask. So I would just say, just always ask. Anytime you have a question, I'm always available. I'm usually available via email all the time. If you need my email address or my phone number, just shoot me a call or a text if you guys have any questions, any concerns about building schedules, because I actually still do that with my little cousins who are graduating high school this year. So we're looking at their schedules too. I'm just saying that utilize anyone that offers help. If somebody offers you help, take it, because we just need that support. And it's difficult now where you're not able to go inside. So I definitely want you guys to realize that for you guys who are not graduating this year or graduating a year or two, things may change for you, but for the graduating seniors, I just want to say congratulations. And just remember that there are a lot of us out here who are willing to help.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And I will be contacting you.
I will be contacting you as well.
Can you put your email in the chat?
Yeah. Let me put my email in chat.
Yeah. We got lucky because I was so pressed because I didn't know because I don't have like the paid for Zoom account. So I didn't know if the meeting was gonna like stop at 7:20, but I think we have unlimited time.
Yeah.
So we were great. I have a question.
Let me stop recording, okay? Yeah.
Oh yes.